Let us talk about virus and antiviruses. We'll see introduction, background, symptoms of viruses, because virus, if we name it, as medical terminology, then they must have some symptoms and they must have some prevention also. So we'll see the examples, protection, prevention, and followed by the conclusion. So the roots of the computer virus were way back early 1949, when the Hungarian scientist John von Neumann, he published a theory called theory of self-producing automata. The first known computer virus, it appeared in 1971 and was dubbed the creeper virus. This virus infected DEC's PDP-10. DEC is a company, PDP-10 was its system, computer system, mainframe computer running on 10x operating system. So this creeper virus, as suggested 2 decades before by John von Neumann, affected a famous company's operating system. So this creeper virus was eventually deleted by a program which was written by Ray Tomlinson, and it was known as the Reaper. Some people considered this the Reaper the first antivirus software ever written. It may be the case, but it is important to note that this Reaper was actually a virus itself specifically designed to remove the creeper virus. So a virus for a virus. Biochemistry, biology, bioscience, same thing happens. A virus for a virus. So what are the symptoms of virus attack? If you are in fever, there are certain symptoms, that you have a flu, you have some other thing, you have a viral fever, or you have indigestion fever, you have a brain fever. All those things have different symptoms. So what is the symptom of virus attack? Computer will run slowly, unusually. Booting a problem, your screen will flicker, and your PC speaker, it will beep periodically. It will indicate you that something is wrong, and system crashes for no reason. Windows, there may be a problem, but it is a problem of viruses that makes your system crash, and your files, sometimes they are not seen, they disappear without no reason. And denial of service, that means you want to click something or you want to go to somewhere, at point of in your computer, some path, it is not available to you, it will be denied. So there are various types of this virus. First is fast infector. As the name suggests, fast infector. This virus, when active in memory, it infects not only executed programs, because you run program, you double click and run program, but also that they are only merely open. Those programs which are not been run, they only open. This fast infector will affect that also. So a running application such as antivirus software, which opens many programs but does not execute them, can result in all programs becoming infected. See what is the extent of trouble you are going to have if fast infector is there. Then macrovirus. This macrovirus, actually macro are certain lines or certain codes, in the form of function, they run. So this macrovirus, they are a malicious series of instructions which are written or designed to simplify or repetitive tasks within a program. This is what macro is all about. So macroviruses are written in macro programming language, and they are attached simply to a Word file or Excel file or any text file. So when the document or template containing this macrovirus is open in the target application, whichever application you are using, the virus runs. Does it damage or copies itself into documents? The virus actually runs itself. Now in whichever way the macro has been written, it damages and copies itself to other documents also. So continual use of this program result in spreading of this virus. Then we have mutating virus. This virus, it stays in memory after it executes and infect other files when certain conditions are met. It is waiting for certain condition, because ultimately virus is also a software program. So for it, something triggers it and it will run itself again. Then resident virus. This virus stay in memory, loads itself in the memory and waits for some trigger to happen. So whenever this event occurs, this virus activates and infects file or disk, or maybe there are other consequences which has been written into this virus. So all boot viruses are essentially your resident virus, and so are the most common file viruses which are found. Then Trojan horse program. This Trojan horse, you might have wondered or have idea what is Trojan horse. Some people were sitting inside a horse, a gigantic horse, and those were soldiers, and it was kept just outside. It was a present. So when the door were open, all those men inside that huge horse, they came out and they infected, they attacked. So the Trojan horse program is a malicious program that pretends to be a benign application, just an application. And Trojan horse program purposefully does something that user does not expect or want. So Trojans are actually not viruses, since they do not replicate, but Trojan horse programs can be just destructive. Now worms are like parasite. They are a parasitic computer program that replicate, but unlike viruses, what is the difference between virus and worm? They do not infect other file. They replicate, but they do not infect other files. So worms can create copies on the same computer, or can send the copies to other computers via network. This is very important. Virus sending itself to other parts of the network, other system which are connected in the network. We have zoo viruses also. Zoo virus exists in the collection of researchers and has never infected a real world computer system. So these viruses are there, but they do not affect or infect. Virus may be detected, may not be detected. So there are certain problems. There are certain things which are actually undecidable. Detection of virus by its appearance, by its behavior, evolution of a known virus, it is undecidable. And detection of evolution of known triggering mechanism, which mechanism can trigger the virus, and viral detector. These things are undecidable actually. So for confronting or to get rid of these viruses, we have antivirus software. Antivirus software, these are those software, they attempt to identify, then neutralize, and then try to eliminate the malicious software. So the term antivirus is used just because the earliest example were designed exclusively to combat the computer viruses. So there are programs written in the similar fashion to attack them. However, most modern antivirus software is now designed to combat a wide range of threat. Not only just a program, it should affect or remove the worms, the phishing attacks, the rootkits, the trojans, often described collectively as malware. There are software, and there are software which are not good. These software which are not good are malware. So antivirus scanning software, or a virus scanner, or antivirus software itself, is that program which examines all the file in the specified location, the contents of the memory, the operating system, the registry, the unexpected program behavior, and anywhere else relevant with the intention of identifying actually and removing any malware, not only viruses. So scanning process takes place, it goes to every nook and corner, every bit and piece is being studied and if any malicious thing is found, it is tried or it is attempted that it should be removed for a system. Now the dictionary. In this virus dictionary approach, there is a dictionary approach. When the antivirus software looks at a file, it refers to a dictionary of known viruses that the author of the antivirus software has identified, because that has already been identified. Some virus may previously been identified. So if a piece of code in the file matches any virus identified in this dictionary, then the antivirus software can take one of the following actions. If in the dictionary some antivirus history is found, then attempt to repair of the file by removing the virus itself from the file is carried out, or quarantine the file. What is quarantine? So that the file remains inaccessible to any other program and its virus cannot longer spread. Quarantine. If someone has some disease which is spreading, it is he or she is kept in a separate room, and we say that this guy is been quarantined, or delete the infected file. These three can be done. And what is the suspicious behavior? This suspicious behavior approach is, by contrast, doesn't attempt to identify known virus. It doesn't try to identify the viruses, but instead it actually monitors the behavior of all the program. If some program is misbehaving, then it will start its action. So if one program tries to write data to an executable program, for example, the antivirus software can flag this suspicious behavior, alert to a user and ask what to do. So it actually sits there and it watches carefully. Is something going wrong? Something of behavior which is not expected is taking place? There are various ways of tackling with this virus problem, and now it is not only subjected to virus, it is actually malware, and it is everywhere. So unlike this dictionary approach, what this suspicious behavior does is, this approach is to provide protection against brand new viruses that do not yet exist in any virus dictionaries. Some antivirus you have procured or purchased, now it doesn't know the new virus. I write a new virus today and I spread it. What the systems are going to do? For that you need suspicious behavior. So however, it can also sound a large number of false positives, because there may be things which you say, oh my god, this is my actual work, why are you indicating it as a malicious software or a malicious activity? So the users probably becomes desensitized of all the warnings, and if the user clicks accept or on each warning, then the antivirus software knows it and obviously gives no benefit to that user, and next time the problem will not come. So this problem has worsened since 1997, since many more non-malicious programs designs came to modify other exe files without regard to this false positive issues, because there are this is your programming you may say constraint, that you have to do, or you have to take many things into account to make a program work, and while antivirus may catch it as a malicious activity. So the most modern antivirus software uses this technique less and less. This suspicious behavior is taken care less and less. And then we have issues of concern. The regular appearance of new malware is certainly in the financial interest of vendors of commercial antivirus software, but there is no evidence of collusion. We cannot say this. Sometimes people say that viruses were made by antivirus companies only, but this is not. This is just a buzz line. We cannot argue on that until unless some really concrete things comes out. And some antivirus software can considerably reduce performance. You might have noticed it. So user may disable the antivirus protection to overcome the performance loss, thus again increasing the risk of the infection. So for maximum protection, the antivirus software you need to be enabled all the time, often at the cost of some lower performance. But there are various software antivirus software which are actually not very performance reducing. So it is important to note that one should not have more than one memory resident antivirus software solution installed in a computer system at a given time. In fact, some systems or some OS only allow one antivirus that can be installed. If you want to install second one, it will ask you to remove the first one. So otherwise the computer may be crippled and further damaged, because those two will have the same action and same line of action. We may create some duplicacy and problem in the future. So it is sometimes necessary to temporarily disable virus protection when installing major updates such as Windows service packs or updating graphic card drivers. So active antivirus protection may partially or completely prevent the installation of major update. This is also issues of concern. These are various issues of concern. And one more thing which I would like to highlight is that when purchasing antivirus software, the agreement may only include a clause that the subscription will be automatically renewed and the purchaser's credit card automatically billed at the renewal time without explicit approval. This has happened. This has actually happened. And some commercial antivirus software programs contain adware. Means most widely accepted antivirus programs often do not detect newly created viruses. This is also an issue. This adware is an issue, and antivirus manufacturers have been criticized for fear mongering by exaggerating the risks that a virus poses to consumers. The small thing can be extended, or it can be shown as, oh my god, this particular thing is going to damage all the systems and create all network troubles, throttles. These are the things which are the issues of concern. So hopefully you got the idea of viruses and antivirus. Thank you so much. Take care.